this area.
5 is all you.
All right. Who's got a question? It can either be one you personally had or you heard. Okay.
What is the best way to respond to the morality was developed independently by different cultures? Because I hear that a lot.
Yeah. So, all right, good question. So the idea that so this is basically social constructivism, right? That each culture. Well, why? One thing I might point out is why do all cultures have certain? They meet at certain common points. Okay. C.S. Lewis gets into this at the beginning of Mere Christianity. This is the first argument that he makes: is the moral universe, the law of human nature, he calls it. And so he gives some examples. Cultures might vary from culture to culture. Can you have 1 wife? Can you have 3 wives? Can you have 50 wives? But no culture says you can have any wife. Okay? You can have somebody else's wife. You don't find that in any culture. So you can extract sort of an absolute even when there is variability. I'm trying to think of another example he gives there.
Randomly killing somebody versus
right.
Somebody that
Yeah.
you think you're justified to kill.
Yeah, randomly killing someone versus some type of vengeance. He points to betrayal. No culture has ever looked at the idea of betraying the people that have been the kindest to you as something that is morally neutral or good. Okay, no one has done that. There's alliances and expectations even among thieves, right? That we're going to band together to pull off this heist at a bank. Therefore, we need to trust each other, even though we're doing something that is very, criminal and deceitful. And so we point to things like that to extract at least some common principles.
What would be a good response to the whole idea of the universe as a replacement for God? So, like, the universe is sending me good, or the universe orchestrated this. And it's almost like a replacement for God, but not quite, because it's, do you understand my question about this whole new thought about the universe being the divine?
Yeah, good question.
You're talking about science replacing, science almost like being the new God kind of argument?
So one thought that comes into my mind is that it really, I would say it's not new, that actually what you're describing, it is very common. This is catching on, and it's sort of pervading our culture today. In fact, we don't see as many atheists today as we did 5 or 10 years ago. When students come up to me on campus now, and they say, I ask them, what's your spiritual background? What's that like? And they say, well, I guess I'm an atheist. So I always ask, what do you mean by that? Right? Great question to ask, by the way. Don't assume that you know where they're at. Ask them to define it. What do you mean by that? They'll say, well, I believe in some type of, higher principle or some type of higher power. I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Jew, I'm not a Muslim, so I guess I'm an atheist. I'm like, well, that's not really what is usually meant by atheist, right? You're more of an agnostic, that would be a better description. So getting to that question, what I hear there is what's called pantheism. Okay, pantheism is the idea that God is everything and everything is God. That you and I are aspects of God, that painting is, that door is, the trees outside are, the birds are, the asteroids are. The entire universe is somehow God. Does that seem to resonate with what you're saying? Or?
Yes, so how would you respond to a person who told you that?
Yeah, so I think maybe the Kalam argument works great there, because so you would have to say that that God came into existence when the universe came into existence, then, right? So that leaves the universe unexplained, unaccounted for. So again, going back to that logical necessity of a first mover, that there had to be something prior, right? There had to be something before.